Oh, no, he's
So
an
they
idiot.
can have... White people have had their fingers in the Middle East for at least that long. Anybody who got that joke is rubbing their knees.
The Abe Lincoln of Russia.
Yep.
Welcome to Can We Talk About, a weekly podcast where we dive into discussions on varying topics and find ourselves in different waters than where we started. I'm CatEaterr, my co-host is Johnny 5. Today we continue our deep dive into Russia with Napoleon's first loss, a progressive reign, and Russia's Lincoln. You can email us at cwtabout@gmail.com, and we hope you enjoy the show today. Hey all, thanks again for listening. If you've made it this far, I think you've noticed the differences in audio quality. Just wanted to note that these were the very first episodes that we had recorded, so audio will continue to improve from here, and then we'll have better audio on an overall basis after this point. Thanks so much for listening. Enjoy the show.
So, Catherine the Great.
What do you remember of Catherine the Great?
She was a fucking badass, alright? She took over, like, Persia, that kind of area, and every time that she took something over, she would, like, show up and be like, hey, I want taxes, but, you know, keep doing you. And then, aside from that, she made the Constitution and that kind of shit. Not just, like, well, okay, what I remember from that particularly, because I might be wrong about, like, just the fact that the Constitution was made, but I know that she asked people that were, like, the advisors, everybody from top to bottom, all the way down to, like, serfs and shit, of, like, hey, what do you want? And everybody just couldn't agree on some shit, so she was like, alright, here you go, here's a made-up thing. And they were like, well, fuck you. But, maybe. Something
That's
like
pretty
that.
spot on. She didn't successfully get a constitution written, and serfs weren't included in the list of people that she
Oh, they
let
weren't?
have a voice.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Everybody but serfs.
All right.
Peasants included, but not serfs.
As far as serfs then, from what I remember, they could all get, like, there was a lot of good shit that happened. I think either they were free or they got education, that kind of shit, except for Ukraine. And that was it. No?
You have it so backward. I don't know how that happened. No, originally she wanted to free them, but she found out that was way too radical at the time. There was no way, and everybody was going to...
Oh, that was a part of the Constitution.
Be madness.
Okay.
So she went the opposite direction and went harder on serfdom, made it harder
Oh,
to be
I forgot.
a serf,
Yeah.
and added serfdom to the Ukraine.
God. Okay, yeah, that totally slipped my mind. I
That's
just
okay.
wanted to keep her in a
Her
good light.
intentions.
There was
were
one.
good.
Well, then was that the one really bad thing? Because I can't remember
Yes.
what the one really bad. That was the okay.
That was the thing.
Wow, and
Yeah.
I completely just was like, "Fuck that! She's great."
Yeah, well, her intentions started good for that, and then she was like, "Oh, these people are going to be really mad and burn everything to the ground if I get rid of the serfs." So,
and I
double down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I remember just like while she's fighting the Ottoman Empire and destroying them, there's like this little dude that like brings a mob up to the castle and is like, "Get the fuck out of here, go!" And they're like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, man, they almost made it to town, kind of a thing. And then she finished Ottoman Empire and threw all the troops over at them, took them all down. Yeah, that was good.
So this is like huge Russia now, right?
Yeah, they're enormous. So I did a couple like side research things that I didn't really include in here, but is handy for what you just asked. They're so big that there's a lot of autonomous zones where they're still just the country or the place that they were, and then Russia just gets their taxes.
Okay, yeah. See,
Yeah.
that's what I thought. I was just, I kind of filled that in my head, and I wasn't entirely sure if that's true, but it kind of seemed like it, where it's just like, at least from the little research that I'm doing, it seems like, yeah, like, just give us your money and do your own thing.
Yep. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep. They were doing they do their own laws, they carry on their lives however they want, unless for whatever reason Russia decides to come in and be like, no, we're gonna change that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yeah, there's huge amounts of autonomous zones in the area that is considered Russia because you just can't govern all of that.
No, it's too big.
Yeah. Yeah. here's the deal with today. I'm going to try and get through as much time as possible, as much as I can. I'm going to note really important stuff, and I'm hoping I won't encounter anything super juicy along the way. I did and I didn't. But nothing that completely sidetracked me, kind of like Vasily did, you know?
I got you.
Vasily did. So, yeah, there's some good stuff to note. But yeah, let's jump in. So, Catherine the Great dies in 1796.
Rest her soul.
Rest her soul. Her son, Paul I, takes the throne. And boy, does he look snarky as fuck about it. If you look up, oh my gosh, Paul I, he is a jerk. He looks like, ha ha ha, I made it. Because remember, she didn't want him to take the throne, because he was a dick.
Yeah.
And
why does he suck so much, then?
So, he...
And I'm going to look up a picture while you're doing that.
Yeah. He makes a new law of secession. So Peter the Great, his grandpa or whatever.
All right. I kind of remember.
Yeah, in an effort to keep the bloodline rolling and thus the dynasty and stability because of what happened last time a dynasty fell in Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Paul I.
Thank you.
Because that was when the time of troubles happened, was when the Rurikid dynasty went down.
Yeah.
So he made it so that women could...
Oh, my God, I hate this guy.
Dude, right?
I fucking hate this guy. He has the exact same face that you explained it so well.
Snarky,
oh my God.
yeah. It's snarky as fuck. Haha, I made it here, bitch. Yeah. Yeah, he's a dick.
Oh, every single one.
Yeah,
wow.
I'm with Catherine.
That's insane.
Yeah, I'm with Catherine.
I fucking hate this guy.
Yeah. So, Peter the Great, to maintain stability and keep their dynasty going, he made it so that women could receive the throne if there were no male heirs in front of them. But Paul said, fuck that, ladies suck, only and only if there are no other men in the entire line that can take the throne. Then a woman can take the throne.
Great. Great. That's just really good progress.
Yeah, they didn't do a whole lot of good when we had them, but whatever.
Jesus.
So he also, I'm just going to list a bunch of ways that he sucks.
I'm fine with that.
He also made the people/army march in a parade every morning.
That doesn't sound like it kind of sucks. That sounds like
he hated it.
He's implementing his power in a way that's just really fucked up.
No, man. So he wakes up every morning and gets his tea or coffee or whatever, and he's like, "It's time for the wash parade," which is what he called it.
Oh my God!
And then they go out, and all of these people have to be in their complete, perfect uniform.
Wow, that's like Hitler shit.
Yeah, like they have to be completely perfect in their uniform. They have to do their drills and their runs in front of him in a beautiful parade. And if anybody stumbles or gets off of the rhythm of the them walking and stuff, there was at one point where he banished a bunch of them, like a whole squadron to Siberia because they got off rhythm during the wash parade.
Good God!
And then like 10, 15 miles later, he's like, you can call it back. But don't fuck up his morning wash parade, man. So he was kind of a dick about it.
Yeah.
And it also didn't matter the weather. I mean, we're talking like Russia, so spring, winter, didn't matter. You're doing the wash parade. He was a dick.
That's commitment.
So, yeah, that's what it was with the involuntary army.
We have to get gold.
He spent a lot of his time trying to undo all of the stuff that his mom did. So he tried to undo his mom's work in the army. She did a bunch of reform there. But the reform didn't work because the codes he put into effect were so stupid that his commanders just ignored them.
That's fantastic.
They were like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that.
I don't, these are new...
Catherine had one of her fuckboys make new uniforms at some point.
Fancy.
And they had been, like, everybody loved them. They were comfortable. They were distinctly Russian. They were cheap, easy to maintain. They were good. You know? He made new uniforms because his mom had.
Right.
And his were impractical, hard to maintain, and they looked Prussian. So they didn't look Russian. And that kind of upset them. And he sucked is the point. He did do a couple of good things though.
Wow. Okay, I looked up Catherine the Great's
Wow.
The uniforms, they look
Those
clean.
are snappy.
They look like almost
I
a revolutionary
really
period.
love. I mean, are those boots not like 220 years ahead of their time?
Dude,
like, we were
for
wearing
real.
those today.
Oh my
They're just
God.
over the knee. They're like 3 inches over the knee, just below the thigh. Boots. Black boots. Oh, that's crisp.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I'm all about that.
That's some good shit. All right, yeah. Why would you want to change that?
Because fuck his mom. He had mom
Fuck
problems.
his mom.
He had mom problems.
I hate this guy.
That being said, we are going to like a couple things he did. He did make serf life better.
Damn it.
Yeah. And peasants got more rights, so they had more things that they could do.
Okay.
One other thing of note, because it affects other relationships with Russia, is he pulled all the troops that were outside the official Russian border back in. So, like, he comes into power and he's like, alright, everybody back home.
Oh, were they just chilling out there?
Kind of. I mean, Catherine had been doing a lot of expansion war stuff.
Yeah.
So she
she kept them out there just in case they wanted to expand more kind of thing.
Well, yeah, she was actively expanding at all times. So even upon her death, they were out, like, in the Caucasus Mountains, which is where Armenia and Georgia
Yeah.
are now. So they're between, like, the Caspian and Mediterranean Sea, I think.
All right.
But there's a mountain range where Armenia and Georgia are, and they're called the Caucasus Mountains. And she had them running through there so that she had been working on taking Iran.
Damn, that's pretty far, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
it's
also
pretty
south
southwest.
too, yeah.
Yeah. So she had them moving down southwest to grab Iran, which means that white people have had their fingers in the Middle East for at least that long.
That's fair.
And also, she had promised Britain and Austria 60,000 troops to help fuck with France. And he rescinded that. They were on their way, and he turned them around and brought them back home.
Damn, okay.
Yeah. So he brought everybody back in. He didn't believe in expansion wars, for starters. He didn't think that's how you get land or whatever. So
You basically just buy it.
I guess I don't know what he thought he was going to do. Oh, and you asked last time, and I said, I haven't heard about Napoleon for a while, so I think he's dead. No, he's still going strong, and he makes a good comeback today.
So he's already been a thing.
Yeah, he's going.
Shit, alright.
There's currently an alliance with Russia and Prussia and Austria and some others to take France down a peg, and they get Italy back from France, but nothing else comes of it because they all hate each other too much to get along long enough to make any real difference.
Yeah.
Anyway, Paul gets assassinated.
Oh, shit. How?
Yeah. Okay, so...
Like who, I guess, is actually the better...
So, he's a deeply religious dude. Like, there's an order of knights of whatever that he becomes like the big dad of or whatever. Very religious. It's like shoving it down people's throat. They do not like it. And then they didn't like that he made life better for the serfs because that makes it less easy for the people that own the serfs to be assholes to them.
Of course, yeah.
People just hated him. So, some dudes, including the British ambassador that was in Russia, they made this plan to kill him. And in 1801, a bunch of dismissed officers from the Russian army, get together and kill him. They get drunk, they bust into his room, where he's hiding behind the curtains. You can picture that, the classic, the curtains are hanging down and the feet are just under it, and they're
shaking.
like, what are you doing, bro? So that's where he's hiding when they come in. And, he heard them coming, and they knew where he was hiding because he didn't do a good job. And they did give him a chance to sign over his rights to the throne, but he refused. So they stabbed and strangled and generally mashed him to death.
Well, I guess he went out, still respectable? I don't really know. You can't even sign away your own shit?
Yeah, but, no, I see. Yeah, respectable, I'd say so. I
guess.
Sure, he really got the shit beat out of him. they literally just, beat him to death.
That's fine.
But, but there is something to be said about, the refusal of, I will not have you just threaten me and me give it up.
Yeah, I guess because then you shouldn't have been ruling from the first place. So at least...
Right, if you don't even have the gall to stand behind your throne like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess the benefit of doing it that way is that today I can say, well, it's not like he wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah, that's true.
But he's dead now.
Yes. I'm going to go ahead and say that character-wise, the Romanovs take a dive between Paul and this next guy. So his son knew that they were going to overthrow him. He claims, like he didn't just know, they asked and he said yes.
Oh, wow, okay.
He claims he didn't know that they were going to kill him. But
wow.
Right.
Okay.
So...
Dude.
But that's what happened anyways, and he takes the throne.
How much money did you get paid to
How
forget?
much money? You get to be king.
Right. Well, no, I just mean to get paid to forget.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So, that being said, here's, I also want you to look him up. There's something fabulous about him. It's Alexander the First.
Alright. Okay. This is not Alexander the Great.
No.
Alexander the First.
Alexander the First has a faux hawk.
News. Images. Wow. Yeah, he does.
Look at it!
Oh my god.
Isn't it fantastic?
It's good shit.
Oh, love it. The balls they have right now is
He's
great.
got that long neck, too, thing.
Oh, yeah.
All the way up there.
Yeah, he's rocking it. He is rocking it.
Nice chin. Damn.
So other than that, the only thing besides his faux hawk that I feel is of note is that he led Russia through the Napoleonic Wars.
What did Russia do during this time?
Okay. I'm not going to do what I did with the 7 Years' War thing and discuss why it was happening and who all was in it and all of that jazz.
Fair enough.
I'm going to try and stick very much to just Russia's stuff in it.
Okay.
But a little bit of pretext I feel is necessary.
Yeah.
Basically, France had been conquesting a large portion of Europe, and no one could really do anything about it except Britain, who was doing a pretty good job at being a thorn in Napoleon's side. So he grabbed some more territory.
Real quick, I thank you for that. I forget that Napoleon is France.
Oh, yeah. Right,
I just picture him as
I was just saying Napoleon, and I was like, I gotta make sure I interchange Napoleon and France a little bit more so we can remember who's who.
I appreciate it, yeah.
Yeah. Because I also forget France. Yeah. But so he decides that he needs to grab some more territory and weaken Britain in other ways to get them to sue for peace. And so he takes over Prussia, some Russian territory, and Austria, and forces them to rearrange their borders and stuff. I don't really know why. It doesn't matter to me.
All right.
Then he told them that they couldn't trade with Britain anymore. And this was a problem for Russia because they were a big trade partner for Russia. Mm-hmm. And the lack of trade with Britain hurt Russia. So Russia ended up saying, fuck you, we do what we want. Very Russian of them.
Right.
And this pissed off Napoleon. Very Napoleon of him. As well as the fact that Russia tried to get the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, which I'm just going to refer to as PLC for the rest of the time.
PLC!
Maybe forever, because this is like the second time we've had to deal with them.
Fair enough.
But so, Russia also pissed Napoleon off because they tried to get the PLC to accept Russia as its ruler, so that France couldn't use it as a quick access point to Russia. Because PLC's right outside the western border to Russia.
Right.
Pretty close to Moscow, too. It's right there. It's a good spot to be in if you're going to mess them up. So, the PLC and Napoleon, though, were like tight friends, fam. Like, they were lit. Like,
I got
like
you.
Russia's like, hey, buddy, we want to be your boss. And the PLC was like,
weird.
Napoleon!
We already got one.
I already got somebody. So, Napoleon made Prussia and Austria team up with him to invade Russia, to eliminate them, kind of for several reasons, but one, because he really thought that France was better than Russia, and two, because he wanted to eliminate them as what he thought would be an obvious future enemy.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry, but every time I hear somebody wants to take out Russia, or even just earlier when you were like, this guy pulled 60,000 troops away from going into France, how much history would have changed if France was Russia, or a part of Russia, or if France became as big as Russia. That would be so fucking nuts.
Would France still be as... Yes, it would
It
be
would.
as refined as it is now.
Yeah.
Yes, because it already was then.
They would have basically just been like, all these buildings look cool as shit, we're gonna add our flair to it.
There'd be a lot of people taking a lot of naps. No, I'm just kidding.
Damn.
But I am lit time.
Alright, I apologize for
Oldest of
interrupting.
shout outs. Okay. Anybody who got that joke is rubbing their knees. Okay. So he, Napoleon, grabs 400 some odd thousand troops and throws them at Russia through the PLC, who hasn't prepared. So Napoleon goes marching into Russia, and Russia uses what's called the Scorched Earth Policy.
What is that? That sounds fucking metal.
It's kind of metal as fuck, yeah. You burn entire towns and all their crops so that the army that's invading you can't live off the land as they go.
Oh my god.
If you're taking us down, you're getting nothing.
That's fucking metal, dude. Oh my god. So what? You just like, do you at least give all of the farmers and stuff like notice?
No, they're literally...
Oh my god, that's literally
they're
just
running
at any
through
notice.
the town. Yeah, like they're running
Wow.
through the town and they're like, hey, come with us, and then throw matches on shit. Hey, come with us, throw matches on shit.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
That means that the farmers know ahead of time then. As far
To
as
just
like
be ready to lose all their shit
exactly,
always.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I can handle that. It's I feel like it's much worse if it's just like, oh hey, by the way, get the fuck out. Like,
or if they don't tell them at all and just leave them there.
yeah. I guess if you see the crops on fire, you just start running with other people.
Right. Where's everybody running to? That's
probably how it works.
Yeah. So, yes,
that's
very metal. Like, you can almost hear the metal music in the background.
Yeah. God, I love this. Oh.
Yeah, man. And they were quick, too. Like, Napoleon couldn't keep up with them.
Because he had to
retreated
so
so
got
fast.
smoker's cough. Like,
they retreated so fast that he spent, the whole thing was him running after them. But, so they used the Scorched Earth Policy as they retreated, and Russia is not a gentle place. So by the time France makes it to Smolensk, which is like the first big city once you cross the border,
yeah,
it's very west, it's more west than Moscow is. There's only 175 soldiers, or 175,000 or so soldiers left for Napoleon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy shit, what did he start with? Like 300 or something?
400 some odd amount. It was like 428 or something like that.
Wow. Okay. I mean, volcanic ash, well, I guess it's not volcanic, though, but ash in general would probably fuck up your food and your horses
Well,
and
so
like everything.
in this time, and I don't really know a whole lot about war now, but in this time, you don't take a lot of that stuff with you because you pillage.
Oh, so literally
You
the
take over
Scorched
towns.
Earth thing does such a great job of that then.
Yes.
You're like, you're stranded. All right, you can have this land. It's going to be fucked up, though.
There's
and
nothing you can use it.
You're going to have to go home within a week or two.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yes,
okay.
very much so. So the two big things that Napoleon had to deal with, and I'm going to bring this up, but I don't know a whole lot about it because it's just this constant thing that's happening in there.
Okay.
That I just haven't wanted to deal with, if I'm being honest.
Fair enough.
The two big things that they had to deal with was, one, the fact that they had no supplies, no eating, no food, no blankets that they could take. There was nothing for them to pillage, so they had nothing to survive with while they were out in Russia.
Right.
But also, they were constantly getting poked at and fucked with by the Cossacks, which is a group of people that were some sort of like country or region that Russia took over, and for the most part, they're just kind of like integrated into Russia, but they kind of maintain their own independence in a way, kind of like...
Are they kind of like Mongolia then?
No, it's more like when you go to like 80s New York and the Irish are roving around their neighborhood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's more like that. They're American.
They're in their section.
But they are fucking Irish.
Yeah.
You know, they're American. They're citizens. They belong there. but they are holding on to their traditions and their culture, and are kind of their own wild thing while also still being part of the big.
Is it today where, like, you have to have the Puerto Rican flag if you're Puerto Rican?
Yeah, I would say so.
That same kind of thing. And I don't even mean that as a dick. That's just, like, that's their pride. Like, which, for us, I guess, is the same
They
for
will
some
not
people.
be lost in the melting pot, quote, unquote, of Russia.
Yeah, exactly.
They will not be, in the lost in
I
the
respect
melting pot
that.
of America. Yeah, I'm into it. So... And Russia's just like, I mean, sometimes they have to deal with them and they kind of butt heads, but for the most part, it's just like, that's just part of living here. Oh, that's just the Cossacks.
That's cool.
But so the Cossacks are also giving France a hard time while they're pushing into Russia. Russia continues to retreat, and Napoleon continues to move forward, and he takes Moscow. I was kind of surprised by this.
I mean, from what I understand now, I haven't looked at a map, but it is west. Right.
Yes, it's
so
very west.
It's not like he's getting, like, Leningrad.
Right.
Or whatever the one that's in the middle.
In the middle.
Yeah.
But Moscow was already empty and on fire when he gets there.
God.
They were like, they're going to come here and we know it, so let's just fuck it all up for them now.
In my head, I'm just thinking, like, alright, well, from the sounds of it, what we just talked about, it's like, okay, well, 2 weeks, how far can you make it, and how far are you willing to burn?
Probably everything.
Yeah, because, I mean, that's not it's not untrue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they would literally get to the very last spot in Russia and just be like, alright, we got, oh my god.
Well, there's nowhere else to go, now all of Russia.
Now I just...
All of Russia knows you're here.
I pictured, like, Lord of the Rings status, where they're, like, going up against the Black Gate. Oh my god.
Man.
That's fucking sick.
That's a good point. There's a point where literally everybody in Russia would be in one spot, and then they'd really be able to take them. So I guess retreat until you have more people than they do.
They just get more concentrated, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so he takes up Moscow and sits there for a month in winter, I think. Yeah.
Napoleon, that is.
Yes, Napoleon does. He sits in Moscow with his troops for
I
a
would
month.
too. That'd be fucking badass. Just being in an abandoned city.
Well, he's waiting for Russia to say that they'll concede.
Oh, no,
So
he's
that
an
they
idiot.
can have Moscow back. Yeah, he's like, oh, they'll call me tomorrow. Oh, they'll call me tomorrow. But they don't.
He's got that Napoleon fucking face.
Yeah, he's just been, he
Just
thinks all I
smug.
do is win, win, win. So he expects, but it just never comes. So he ends up having to retreat because they have no food and they barely have shelter and winter's happening. And in the retreat back to France, he loses most of the rest of his men.
Seriously?
Yeah, like less than 20,000 or some shit make it back.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Russia beat him without really even fighting.
Exactly. They just burn their own shit.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love that.
Dude, it's
Wow.
fast as hell that Russia was just like, yeah, we're just going to sit over here in another city and wait you out because we know that you cannot handle Russia.
Yeah, if only 1/20th of your people survive, that's not like just a failure. That's like an epic failure.
Yeah, man.
Did he lose his job?
Well,
Whatever job that would be.
Not quite, but kind of. So after his failed invasion of Russia, Austria and Prussia defect from being under French control, and they join the 6th coalition against France. And they defeat France, and Napoleon is exiled to an island called Elba.
Elba?
Elba.
Sounds fancy.
So, the 6th coalition was an alliance of countries against France. And I'm just going to list them all out because there was a lot. Some don't exist anymore, so we're just going to deal with that.
Go for it.
Russia, Prussia, the United Kingdom, Mecklenburg-Schwerin, Portugal, Sardinia, Sicily, Spain, Sweden, Austria, Bavaria, Baden, Liechtenstein, which I did not know until today was a real country.
I love that.
Yes, the Netherlands, Württemberg, and Denmark.
Württemberg.
Yeah, Württemberg. So Napoleon comes back a year later, but we're going to move along.
Yeah.
Because nothing that Russia, it's not.
Not important.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter a whole lot. But I am going to note, because the whole thing is about the relationship of Russia and everybody else and all of that, Russia kind of seems to be a team player as far as the relationships with everybody else goes when it comes to the Napoleon stuff.
All right.
Everybody's like, this guy's out of control, we gotta tone him down. Which is funny because everybody felt that way about Russia for a really long time and still does on and off, but this guy,
Nah, this guy, he's jerking it everywhere he goes.
Yeah,
He's a
man.
weirdo.
Anyway. So Alexander I dies, and his brother Nicholas I takes the throne. He had some hardy genes, that's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
He is known to have been I'm just going to kind of run through him because there's not a whole lot of note for me anyway.
Yeah.
He is known to have been reactionary in his leading. He expanded Russian territory, industrialized Russia even more than it was before for its mining and things like that. Like that industry grew even further. And then there was also economic growth under his reign. Now, I say the hardy genes thing because all 7 of Nicholas's kids survived childhood.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's the 1800s, but still, like, that's fucking...
Spit them out, and they all made it through.
Good for them.
Hell yeah. Now, that being said, he did some messed up things to Jewish people.
Well, I mean... Like, did he... Oh, God. Was he, like, the first Hitler?
I think a lot of people were just really mean to Jewish people a lot. Like, I mean, I've kind of heard it, but I've never really known the detail. But he wasn't great. So he forced them into military service. He was like, if you're Jewish, you're getting...
I mean, that makes him
drafted.
Stronger, though, in a way.
I guess.
It's kind of shitty, but...
But so he ended up drafting them, and then he would send them far, far from their homes and where they were from, so that they'd have trouble practicing Judaism. And thus... they would be Russified.
Well, okay, that's pretty fucked.
Then, after they've been Russified, many of them ended up just, like, giving in and converting to Christianity. They were like, ugh, fine. I mean, they're probably getting bullied in the army. They're far from home. You know, you lower somebody's will enough, they're gonna do it.
I mean, you go to the first battle, and they put you in the front lines, and then you're like, oh, man, if you convert to Christianity, you just...
go in the back.
Yeah. You don't even have to be here.
So that was kind of messed up. But...
that is, that's very fucked up.
Yeah, but then his son, Alexander II, is pretty fucking rad. We're going back up. I told you character went sideways for a while there for the Romanovs, but we're going right back up on the mountain with Alexander II.
Ooh! Oh my God!
A couple of notes.
Wow!
We have photos now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
This is a black and white.
We're officially at the point where photos are occurring. It's 1855 when he takes over.
He's got so many fucking medals. Look at how many medals he has on him.
Hell yeah, he's decorated.
God!
Look how crazy he looks.
I know. Like, one of his eyes is, like, about to fall out.
Yeah, I don't even know how to describe him, man, but he's worth Googling a picture of. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So, let's see. Now that we get... Oh! I just like to see how, like, straight up rough people actually looked. Because the paintings are so,
Yeah.
And you're like, well, what did they actually look like? Like, there's no way to take those paintings and see how somebody actually looked. Because they're the idealized version of these people. With a bunch of, like, painting styles that changed the size of them and stuff. Like, Catherine the Great, she had a double chin, but then she was 2 inches wide, and it's like, she wasn't 2 inches wide.
Yeah.
So I'm excited that photos are here now, so we can really see how just, like, jacked up they look.
Fuck yeah.
Anyway. Here's the big thing he did. Are you ready?
What'd he do?
Are you ready?
What'd he do?
I'm so excited. He abolished serfdom.
Yay!
Yay! Slavery's out the window.
How? Whoa, hold up. How the fuck did he do that? Like, did he just, like, change the name?
No. So it was a process. It was a lengthy process to do. He had the serfs transformed into, I'm going to say what it is and then actually explain it.
All right.
A class of independent communal proprietors. Basically meaning that they were full-on people. They weren't dependent on the landowners to do anything or anything like that. They were allowed to get married without the permission of their owners. They were allowed to own their own businesses. They could do what they wanted with their own land. All of that.
Cool.
They were full-on people. It took a while to get there, like
Obviously.
find the paperwork, and it didn't just boom happen overnight.
Yeah.
But over some months, he was able to get it fully there, and like there was this boom in LLCs, limited liability corporations, of people just, like, registering their businesses.
Dude.
Which also is really cool to know that LLCs have been around since 1855, at least.
That's fucking dope. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So then he did a bunch of other new reforms as well. Big, different areas. There were plans formed for building a big network of railways.
Good.
Right, dude, right.
Well, I mean, I guess it has a lot of jobs. I just know how we use railroads, and that's not really that great, so, but I don't know.
Well, so it was partly to develop the natural resources of the country, and then partly to increase its power for defense and attack.
Yeah.
So you could ship people faster places.
And ammo.
Yeah. And all of it.
Yeah.
You know?
I guess there's still not weapons yet. There's there's weapons, but you know what I mean. There's like
I don't remember when you said we had the guns. It's in
guns is like 17. Well, no, this is Revolutionary War. So at least in America, there's some fucking guns at this point because we're in the 1800s now.
Yeah. So because America was founded in 1776.
Yeah. So there is guns. Good for them.
100 years after America. Well, I know that China had it hundreds of years before.
Yeah, but that was, gunpowder was like in the 1500s, but it was like alchemist shit. It was like, pa.
Okay. So, also corporal punishment in the military, and this is hideous, and I didn't know it was happening. Branding of soldiers as punishment.
Wow.
Those two things were outlawed, banned.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, wait, hold up.
So they were happening, and he stopped them from happening.
Sweet.
Yes. He also did, he reorganized the justice system.
Like how so? Like, just made it more...
in a pretty rad way, actually.
Like, in the sense that, like, at least ours has that idea of, like, hey, it's like a 50-50 chance, like, you know what I mean?
Kind of, yeah. So it included a trial in open court.
Alright, cool.
And judges were appointed for life. And then with judges appointed for life. So there weren't judges, it was just like the judge.
Yeah.
So, trial in open court, judges appointed for life, a jury system, and the creation of justices of the peace to deal with minor offenses at the local level.
Good, okay.
Like, he, made, that's our current justice
basically,
system.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
like,
did good on that.
maybe the jury is, of his peers, maybe it's not. Who gives a shit? At least there's a fucking more than one guy that's saying...
More than one guy just deciding you die.
Yeah.
And, because before that you didn't even have open trials. You didn't have, it was just you...
The emperor said you gotta go.
Some guard said that you fucked
too.
up and you got put in the stockades or you got put in a jail cell, and then somebody went through and just signed the paperwork and probably never even saw you.
Yeah.
And then you got killed. So then he sells Alaska to the United States. Two big reasons. One was because it was the colony was just losing a lot of money for them. Okay. And the other one was it wasn't defensible for them and they didn't want Britain to get their hands on it.
Fair enough.
So
We're
they
just
sold
the middleman.
Yeah, I guess the U.S. was lesser of two evils, which is an interesting note considering our relationship now. I wonder if they're like, fuck him for selling goddamn Alaska to them.
Almost. I mean, it's almost kind of like maybe they didn't think that we would be this big now.
Maybe. I don't know. I think that was the most nearsighted thing I've ever heard them do.
Yeah.
Russian ministers did stay behind when they sold Alaska to minister their flock or whatever you call
proceeds.
People that go to church.
Yeah.
They're parishioners.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
And then he joined a thing called the League of the Three Emperors, which stabilized Europe.
How did it do that?
Well, after Napoleon III fell, there was just kind of chaos everywhere, and they did this alliance 3 times, and it just made everything a bit more settled. So Austria and Prussia and Russia would get together and kind of go over ways to make things more settled. Like they went into Germany and they got Germany more settled and had the chancellor, get set up there and everything, and then they were good to go.
So it's kind of like they're trying to... I was about to say, are they the 3 superpowers? But obviously I feel like it would be, at this point, it's France and Great Britain and Russia. But...
yeah, I would say so.
But essentially, Russia is trying to get a little bit of support for, hey, we need to, manage this chaos a little bit better.
Well, yeah, so I think it says a lot about all three of them, but particularly Russia, because Austria and Prussia, I mean, they got pushed around all the time.
Yeah, just a little bit that you mentioned, there was like 4 or 5 different people in there.
Yeah, they're always getting pushed around and moved around, mostly by France, but, Russia's done it a few times too. But so for Russia to, instead of trying to just take a bunch of stuff while things were crazy and up in the air, to join, an alliance with the three and do things to get things politically more settled, I think that shows, I don't know.
Character?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Like, they're not, like you said, they're not just like, let me just take a stick and this is mine now. Like,
yeah.
Because they could easily just take out those guys, I would assume, at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they could just take over those two. Maybe that's the leverage. I don't want to read into it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I like
the first one. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he didn't want to set up a parliamentary system. Like, people were kind of pushing for it, but he didn't want it because it took a bunch of his power away, and he wanted to make his changes and do the reforms and things like that. And once you add a parliament, it makes things more difficult to do whatever the hell you want with.
Yeah, it takes longer.
Yeah, it takes some of his power away. So I kind of get that, but also kind of, balances of power are important. But
yeah.
And, I mean, through his reign, bunches of people tried to assassinate him for, like, the whole dang time. But it finally happened in 1881 in St. Petersburg. It's kind of crazy. So every Sunday morning, he would go to the armory or whatever and do, like, roll call of all the people. And
God, it's like a weird ass Santa.
Yeah, and it was weird because he didn't do the roll call. He just went to watch it or something. I don't know. It was strange.
That's even weirder.
Yeah, they get weird sometimes. But so he would do that, and then they were on their way back. Here's the problem with being too scheduled like that, too regular. We all do it. We all get into our routines. But here's why a routine is bad. Here's why it's bad.
It ends in assassination.
Yeah, it makes you so much easier to assassinate.
Yeah.
So they're in their, caravan, there's the people in front, and then the cars, the carriages in front, and then the carriage she's in, and then the carriage behind, and then the people on horseback behind that. The whole procession is happening through town, and there were 3 bombers in the crowd, and one of them threw down his bomb, and it went under the horses and under the carriage and blew them up. But the carriage, which was a gift from Napoleon III, was bulletproof and everything. And so when the bomb went off, it kind of roughed things up, but it didn't kill the Tsar inside.
Right.
So then he comes popping his head out and he's like, "Oh, my Lord." And he gets out, and he's like, "Thank God." And then the second bomber throws down a bomb at his feet saying, "It is too early to thank God."
Oh, shit.
And then the bomb goes off and kills him. But, he doesn't die at the bomb site, actually.
He gets stabbed in the neck.
No. So the bomb blows his legs off. His guts are everywhere. He's nearly half a person.
Yeah.
They drag him back to the Winter Palace, because that's where they were at the time, which, by the way, the Winter Palace is part of the Hermitage. So...
It's still there? The fucking...
Yes, I'm sure the bloody sheets are still there. No,
God.
I'm sure not. But,
No, I just mean the Winter Palace is still there.
Yeah. And it's an important place. I mean, that's where he signed his thing abolishing serfdom, was at the Winter Palace.
God damn.
And that's where he died. But so they take it back there, he gets his last rites read, does all of that jazz, and the family comes, and all of that, fun stuff, and they're like, "How long has he got?" And he's like, "I don't know, 15 minutes,
Right.
And he ends up dying, and that was February of 1880. I would like to note that there was a third bomber in the crowd that had another bomb in his suitcase if the other 2 did not work. So the chances were pretty slim he was going to make it out of that. If he had stayed in the carriage, he might have been okay. But he got out what's going on?
I don't know. I mean, once your whole half body gets ripped off, you're alive for the next 24 hours, but it's going to be rough.
Yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good.
Also, I looked up a picture of Winter Palace. I I thought that it was the Ice Palace. That was the thing that I was going through my head.
Oh,
Winter Palace.
Oh, I was like,
Yeah.
it's still there. Yeah.
Yeah, Winter Palace is the Hermitage, the fucking museum place. So sorry. Yeah, my brain was just like, what?
Oh, you're good. Oh, and I forgot. Alexander, this guy that just died, had a title. He was Alexander the Liberator.
I love that.
Hell yeah. He's like the Abe Lincoln.
The Abe Lincoln of Russia.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Guy of assassination too.
Yeah, but much more metal.
Yeah, pretty metal.
It's not like
Russia
he was,
for you though.
Yeah, it's not like he was like watching some fucking theater or whatever, and then got shot in the back of the head. No, he got blown up and then walked out and then blown up again.
Yeah, he took 2 bombs, take them out. But yeah, I'm excited to see actual pictures of people now.
Hell yeah,
because they're gonna look rough. So I'm really stoked about that. I'm excited because we're starting to get close to things that we actually know about, and that's going to be fun to kind of reflect on. And it also means that I'll know the ins and outs a bit more, because the Romanovs are something I've researched once or twice in the past already.
And
so
you're just closer to being done with it too.
Well, yes, that too. But not because I want to be done with it, but because I want to have it as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want more. Like,
yeah.
I am under the impression that in the next 200 years or so, basically from this point that we just finished on to now, it's just going to accelerate. And I feel like that's
it's about
anywhere.
To get stupid, I think.
These last 200 years of what we've done on this planet, I feel no matter where you are, is just going to accelerate whatever government you're a part of.
Yeah. Well, I think, 1, more things are happening. 2, because there's more people and everything.
Yeah.
You know, but then 2, with technology being what it is, with our ability to keep track of history the way it is, you know, there's a bunch of things that happen that there's no way of me knowing about. There's, like we were talking about, like the knowledge of history, as we get further away from a certain spot in history, the knowledge of that history deteriorates.
Right.
Because the information was so small there to begin with, you know. So we're getting to a point where we're going to be able to really see the ins and outs of things.
Yeah.
Which does also mean that even though there's only 200 years left, that there are going to be some things that we end up spending an entire episode just talking about that one thing, because it was a big deal, because we all know that it affected things, because these are the things that we know are directly affecting our relationship with that country.
Yeah.
And because I'll probably be able to find both sides of the coin.
Yeah. Yeah, this is when
you're
going to have to start looking up, okay, is this pro, is this anti, all that kind of stuff, the political sides of everything. And then on top of that, like, this is also the time where we start hanging out as countries. You know what I mean? We start picking our friends, picking our foes, that kind of shit. Putting lines on paper, you know?
Yeah, because, like, the last of the world has started to be claimed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, and on top of that, rather than just getting by with, like, all right, well, we're going to take your land and you guys will we'll tax you, you give us money. That would be cool. Instead, now I think, at least from the philosopher standpoint, it starts becoming more and more apparent that, like, hey, you know, maybe working with each other is far better. You can actually sustain your shit. So now it should be a global trade kind of thing. And I think that really boosts everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I'm pretty stoked.
Because that's kind of when, you know, you become whoever the fuck you are. Russia becomes really good at whatever the fuck they're good at.
Right, like at this point they're like 16, 17, 18, and they're going to find what makes them who they are.
Yeah.
And then hold on to that dearly. And shape who they are as a person around that. And now they're just adulting. Maybe that's it. Maybe we've said that before.
Oh my
Maybe
God.
we're just mad because they're older than we are and they've got their shit together finally.
They got rid of their slavery in 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
So they did it 150 years, 160. Well, technically you could say
it was like 1840, 1850, right in there. So it was like 110 years or so.
Yeah. And we're saying we're saying 1960s, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's where I'm putting it at. Yeah.
Yes.
Not this whole 1880 bullshit.
No. Absolutely not. No. They weren't free. They were not. So yeah.
That's fucking... I love this.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where the fuck it goes.
Yes. Me too.